Well, this is a quick update on the Raptor. What you see is pretty well what the Raptor looks like most of the time, because every time we come up from the road, even if I've just washed the truck, believe it or not, I washed the truck yesterday. So this is the way that it is. If you look, and the thing is that this has to be cleaned off very regularly, so I end up washing the truck. I end up washing the truck as often as 3, maybe 4 times a week. Now, I took my bike rack off because it just seemed to be, well, it wasn't being used because I'm up here, so took it off. See, so if you look, as I say, one trip from the road after being washed, and this is what it looks like. Okay, here we go. Haven't actually done much mileage in this, maybe I'm thinking under 40,000 kilometers. Now, I really love the truck. I have to say that it has been a super truck for me. Driving is a real joy. What do we spend on it? Well, servicing is quite expensive. That's what we find. Not unusual, expensive for us. Okay, we don't think in terms of dollars or pounds, Australian or US. We think in terms of pesos, and paying 25,000 or 30,000 of anything is expensive wherever you live. So looking, this is what our working truck looks like. We're not clean freaks, that's for sure. But then with so much mud, you simply cannot keep it clean. And now the one disappointment I found with the Raptor is the upholstery. See, so we would end up having to replace these entire covers. The drivers is the same. It's not that we brutalize it, it just gets used, but we've only done relatively small mileage. What are we talking about? 25 or 30,000 miles. So it hasn't been overused. The trouble is that as we drive up and down, we get all of this splashed up, all of that there. Look, that is, because I cleaned it yesterday, that's pretty well good. I actually scraped some of it off with a foot, because if it's like that and it rains, this becomes muddy. But that's what's happening under the wheel arches. If you look, this is, you know, that once that cakes on underneath, then it is a problem. It can be. And of course, you're looking at one cleaning, so the wheels are pretty well clear. Comparatively speaking, they're clear of mud. Now, if you don't wash that off, it cakes inside. It arrives here wet, then it dries, we go down again, gets coated again, dries again, and soon these almost disappear, which of course takes out the balance of the wheels. And this is about as heavy as usually as we get. I take the water down. It's just easier than Rado taking it down in his tricycle. But I will have to go tomorrow, absolutely tomorrow, and wash. So for those of you who don't know anything about the Raptor, it's an awesome vehicle. it's computerized suspension. The back suspension is computerized and goes into, especially the back, and it goes into different modes, whether it's for driving on a beach, driving on rock, mud, or let me see, gravel. There's 6 different modes, and of course it's 10 gears. It's 10 gears, and you can go on a manual, or you can go just on drive, which is automatic, but it's 10 gears. And if you're going to go and do your thing here, that's how you change gears, and it's on the other side. It's got cruise control. This is where you would decide whether you wanted to go and what you wanted to do as far as the computer goes, and that would tell you the trips, tells you what your average speed was, what your average gas consumption was, diesel of course. AC is wonderful, and the electric seats, I'm a bit surprised that they didn't bother to make the passenger seat in the front at least to be electric, but anyway, it's electric here. I bought some tape when we were buying materials. I thought it was solid. It's actually turned out to be a mesh, so I only put it on here. And so it's got some wear here as well, which is a great pity. Of course, all of this is great marketing. It really does feel, when you get into this, it's in the showroom, when it's in absolutely pristine, prepared condition. I was really amazed at the quality of the paintwork. And of course, I never thought that I would be using any of this. I mean, all of this, get it around the right way, all of this stuff that you can see here, I rarely use any of it. I never use cruise control because we don't have any highways, so that would be a waste of time for me. The one thing that I do use is this here. I use the 4-wheel drive, obviously, never use high, but I use the 4-wheel drive, and it's just a little quick click switch. And over here, this is a hill descent. Now we live up in the mountains, so I use that every day. I'll turn that on. Let me show you what it looks like. See, hill descent control ready. So I'll use that, and what it does is it just saves me from having to even touch the brakes or the gas unless I really want to go a little bit faster. There's our disappointment with the upholstery, but that's the only place. Apart from that, disappointment, no. This is a super truck for me. I just love it. I never use any of the interior lights, very, very seldom. Right, I use this because it's for glasses, so I use that. A lot of handles, you need the handle to get in. It's not an old man's car for getting in, an old man's truck. You really need that, and you swing yourself in behind the wheel, and you do it with the left hand. So you get swinging in to your right, you do it with the left hand. There's also something here that I never use, right? It's got all the usual things like this. Oh. And of course, Beth, anybody who has a wife knows that this is always down, and the light is always on, and the mirror is always up. It's one of those things, isn't it? So, that's the Raptor. We're very, very happy with the Raptor. It's met, or it never gets stuck, never. Right, so even on that rough road, you can see that it's not a treat to go down that road, but in the Raptor, it's bearable. With the bike, with my Yamaha sports bike, which is just not equipped for doing that road. I've gone into mud patches there, been almost at a standstill and had to drop the bike. It slipped away from me and been a devil of a job to pick it up. But now I keep that bike down at the property in Burgos where we keep it stored. And I'm just looking at my tape, which I thought was going to do the job, mistakenly. Yeah, it didn't do the job, it's no good at all. So, it's a scruffy Raptor. Once when we were being investigated by the inspector, one of the investigators at the cops, PMP, and he said, now we know who drives the dirty Raptor. So I'm known, unfortunately, it's an unenviable reputation, but I'm recognised immediately because it's always covered in mud, and there's very little we can do about that. Hopefully it will not be as hard to keep it clean when we're living down in Burgos and not in the mountains. I'm looking forward to that because I'll be able to use my bike much more, whereas right now I have to drive the Raptor down to the property, unload my bike, not unload it, but take it out of storage, and then I drive into Taliban. So that's the situation there. Still have to use the Raptor just for the very short. It's about 5 miles to our property from here. So 5 miles or 2 miles of very rough road with a lot of mud. So even when you're walking, that is a son of a gun to walk. Well, anyway, that's yes, that's our poor Volkswagen, which I spent so much money on when I came to the Philippines at first. It was absolutely beautiful when we drove it off the ferry in Bohol, and it's not absolutely beautiful now, but hopefully it will have another chance. For some reason the dogs have started, so I'll end off this little update. Thanks for looking.